Hey, what's up guys? Today we're talking about the Ionic spinner. Alright, and we're going to be doing a bunch of examples, including some common use cases you might want to do, like showing and hiding the spinner under different conditions. We're going to look at configuring all the different colors and stuff. So I hope you enjoy the content, and let's jump right into it. Alright, so first off, if you don't have your own project, be sure to check out my video on getting started installing Ionic, and then we'll get you set up with your own project. But assuming you already have your own project, let's just get started here and just do the most basic spinner example. So the Ion spinner, as you guys probably know, just looks like this. The tag is just Ion spinner, so just put that anywhere in your HTML and then save that file, and then I'm going to go and check out what the page looks like after that. Alright, so here we are on the page. I just have a blank project and the spinner is up there in the top left. Alright, so that's like the most basic example, the default spinner right there. So let's move on to a spinner which is a little bit different. There are like all these different kinds. This one is called lines, so you can change the spinner type by just specifying the name attribute like this with the lines in there right there. Alright, so let's see how that one looks. Alright, so there's our lines one. That one's kind of more of an iOS feel. Alright, and there are just a whole bunch of these. I'm going to do them kind of all at once. So we got lines, lines small, dots, bubbles, circles, and with that, let's just check those out. Okay, so reloading the page here. We got our default, the lines, the small lines, dots. That one's a pretty cool looking one. Yeah, whichever one of these you guys want to do, just specify the appropriate attribute right here as the name, or the appropriate value under the name attribute. So just do that and you should be good to go. So that's enough of like the different types. That's really all there are. And then now let's look at what a paused spinner looks like. So you can provide a paused attribute right here, and then that will just cause whatever spinner it is to just have the animation be frozen. Okay, so this one right here, this one's frozen. It's just the default one. Which is shown up here. The default one is just frozen in place, so you can use that. You can even like bind this to a variable if you wanted to. Maybe we'll do that in a second, but first I want to cover what a lot of you guys probably want to know is like how to show and hide the spinner. Well, that is like, depending on what your app is doing, you probably have some sort of Boolean state or something that you're wanting to either show or hide the spinner on. So let's just do an example here where I have a Boolean called show or something like that, and it's set equal to true initially. Okay, then inside of the constructor, so that's called when this page is initialized, I'm going to call set timeout in order to sort of simulate maybe a page loading, like loading some data or something like that. So it's going to call a function after a certain amount of time. I'll make it call the function after like 3 seconds or something like that. So after 3 seconds, this callback right here will be called, and it's going to set this dot show to be false. Okay, and so in your application, this might be something like loading. So you might have a variable called loading, and then whenever your operation finishes, you could set loading to false, and then inside of the HTML, we will hide like the very top spinner, the default spinner. We'll say ng if, and then show. Okay, and for you that would probably be loading or whatever you want to do. So only if that attribute is true will this be shown. Okay, and so it's true at first, and then after 3 seconds it'll be set to false. Okay, so let's check that out. Refresh the page here. 1, 2, 3. Alright. There we go. So it's working. The default spinner is no longer shown. So that's a very common thing, is you just want to show like the page loading. And by the way, while we're here at this checkpoint, if you wouldn't mind, please drop a like on the video. I'd really appreciate that if this has brought value to you, or you just want to support the channel. And then with that said, let's also go and I said I was going to bind to the paused state. Let's bind the paused attribute on this last guy right here, the pause default spinner. Let's bind that to a variable called isPaused. Okay, and I'm actually going to rename the shown to isShown. or show to is shown. That's just kind of more proper, like the variable names should be nouns. So this one's going to be is shown, and then going to change it down here as well, is shown. And then I'm going to make another variable called is paused. Alright, and then I'm going to make another function call here to set timeout, or set interval actually, interval. So this one's just going to like toggle that is paused state. So it'll set this dot is paused equal to not this dot is paused. And that's just kind of how we do a toggle of like a Boolean variable. And we'll set this one to do every second. So basically we have the variable is paused set to true, and then once a second, every single second is going to, if it's true, it's going to set it to false, and if it's false, it's going to set it to true, so it just flips it. Alright, and then that is paused right here is the value that the paused attribute on the spinner is being bound to. So it'll sort of just like toggle on and off. See, there we go, it's kind of freezes. And so I'm not really sure why you would want to pause the spinner, but if you're wanting to, that's how you would do it. Alright, and then down here at the bottom, I'm going to make some different colors for our spinners. So the first one I'll set to be primary. And these colors are defined in the variables.scss right here. So the primary color, that's this guy right here, the blue one. And then we have some other colors as well. Primary, secondary, tertiary, success. Just whatever ones you want to use. So we'll just do a couple of them. Secondary. For some reason I always have a hard time spelling the word secondary. Tertiary. That one's not as bad. Alright, so we'll just do those three. And then see how that looks on the page. And you can combine any of these attributes, by the way. Like, it doesn't only have to have one. It can have any of them. So there we go. There's our colors. Alright, and then finally let's look at some different like timing of the animations. Like, you can speed up or slow down the animation speed. So the way that we can do that is we can specify the duration. And this is a number in milliseconds. So let's set the first one equal to like 1 second, and then because like 1 second is 1,000 milliseconds, and then the second one can be slower, and the third one will be even slower. So now we'll have like kind of medium, slow, and then slowest. So we'll scroll down here to the bottom of the page, and then we've got, yeah, just one kind of going faster. Hey, let's put like an even faster one at the very beginning and set it equal to the success color at like, let's try and do like, maybe we'll do like 500. You can do like whatever value you want there in milliseconds within reason. I don't think it can go like too fast. Like, you can't set it to be like a millisecond or something. That might be kind of ridiculous. So there we go. That's the animation speed. And just to be extra fancy and show you guys one more piece of content, we're going to set the duration, bind it to a variable. So we'll bind it to like a duration attribute. It can just have the same name. And we'll set this one to be ever increasing. So we'll set it equal to be like really fast at first. And we'll have it get like slower over time. So let's do the set interval once again, and then set the duration to maybe just like add on a second to it every second. Okay, so the duration starts out at 100, and then we add on a second every second. Okay, so let's check that out. I'm gonna refresh the page here, and then going down here we see that this one is getting slower and slower. Unfortunately, it does reset the animation to the spinner every time you do that, but it's still working. I think it's kind of funny. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, be sure to leave a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Also, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the video. Are having any troubles with this? Any comments? Anything you have to say? I'd love to hear it. And then also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.